is getting to that time where the leaves are changing and your grass is turning a little brown, it's maybe your last chance or last opportunity to manicure it the way you want to, or maybe have somebody else do it. And just keep that in mind when you hear the song. But anyway, let's go ahead and take that break. All right, Will.
What?
They drank. Just let the kids know right now, this weekend, or when you're going out trick-or-treating on the 31st, next Tuesday, and somebody tries to give you goobers, those are chocolate-covered peanuts. Be aware. Be scared. Tell them you want Raisinets.
Because peanuts are evil. We'll be right back with Christopher Long.
I was born of the danger.
Welcome back, everyone. You there, Thunder?
I am here.
All right, and want to welcome right now Mr. Christopher Long. How you doing, buddy?
Fellas, I want to applaud you for the great public service that you provide there, because goobers are peanuts, except no substitute, raisinets for trick-or-treat only.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Chocolate covered raisins are fine, but do not let the chocolates fool you. The peanuts are evil.
Absolutely. I hate to barge in on the football dialogue there. That was good stuff, fellas.
Thanks.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, we were.
Thunder, I think we need to start our own geriatric league. We need to dig up Troy and Brett and Joe Montana and Warren Moon. Let's get all the old guys together to form a league from the old glory days.
Absolutely, man. It would be walkers and hover-rounds all around. It would be fantastic.
At least they'll know which jerseys they're wearing.
Exactly.
They'll know who to throw the ball to.
And then, Chris, along with that, me and you are both of short stature.
Yeah.
I think we need a little man's National Basketball Association with like 8-foot rims, and we could be centers.
Kind of like Mini Kiss?
Which is one of the greatest things ever. Because if I don't make it in the radio business, I'm going to join midget wrestling as the Giant.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'll buy a ticket for that, Thunder.
I'll be the Little Big Show.
I like it.
You know what? All I need is a black unitard and some knee pads. I'll be ready.
I've seen pictures of you in the black leotard before, and it's not pretty.
Well, you know what? I never claimed to be pretty. That's why I'm on radio and not TV.
Thunder, I thought you destroyed all of those pictures.
Well, you know what? I guess some of them leaked out there, and it is what it is. But
I
take pride in everything. I take pride in everything I do. In this day and age, you know, you can't do anything without it being leaked.
Yeah.
Unless. Well, anyway, Chris, welcome to the show.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, fellas. I'm a big fan. I've been tuning in the last couple of weeks, and I dig the show, man. I get where you're coming from, and I'm a fan.
Awesome.
Well, we appreciate that, man. We're a big fan of yours, man. Followed you for a long time, man. Read your book, man. Come on, and to be honest with you, it's taken me a minute to kind of process everything, and kind of makes me take a minute to look back at my own self right there. I just want to let you know that it's very inspirational right there, and the writing is fantastic. Cool. You're a wordsmith, man. I'm telling you.
Well, thanks, man. That's there's a lot of stuff in that book, my current book, Come On, and a lot of reflection on my experiences in the entertainment business over the years, and where it led me ultimately. And it's a fun little ride for sure.
Oh, it absolutely is. I'll tell you what. I downloaded the book and I read it in 6.5 hours.
Dynamite, because it only took me 4 hours to write it.
Well, you know what? I'm a little slower than most people, but they told me, it'll get better with age. But as my sometimer kicks in, it happens.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Chris, I had a question. Earlier we were talking about, we teased and we played lawn care studs. I made the comment that I had never seen a bad Dead Serious show. I don't remember ever.
There never was one. There never
That's
was
what I was going to ask.
That's right.
I mean, did you ever have any Spinal Tap moments? Maybe the pod wouldn't open, or maybe the Stonehenge monument was only 3 feet tall.
Everything was a Spinal Tap moment. I just went to the Paul Stanley School 101 of rock and roll. We were just able to play it off like it was, whether it went right or something went wrong, we just always played it off like it was part of the show, so nobody was the wiser.
And as you said in your book right there, at our age right now, Bill, careful with the Spinal Tap moments, because some of these people will not understand that if they're listening, if they're, aged to be able to walk around freely without walkers and canes. So
that's true.
We don't need to show our age that much.
Well, they need to go out and buy that movie, because it's one of the greatest movies ever made.
Yeah, whether you're a 15-year-old kid just starting or an old-timer like us, Spinal Tap is a valuable lesson.
And something along those lines, last year, my 12-year-old son and I sat and watched The Holy Grail. And he thought it was the funniest movie he ever watched. I'm like, you know what, son, I love you. You will do fine in school. You can understand this humor. I love you. You're fantastic.
Timeless. Quality has no expiration date,
Well, I read somewhere that they're working on a remake of that movie, and why? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
They need to leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I mean, if there's ever a question, just look at Willy Wonka, and that'll show you how things can go horribly wrong,
Yeah, the Charlie and Charlie Factory debacle.
Gene Wilder did not need any help. He got it. He nailed it the first time just fine.
And he definitely did not need help from Edward Scissorhands.
No, definitely not. Definitely.
I mean, really?
Chris,
and this other thing, Johnny Depp playing Tonto. As a kid, I watched The Lone Ranger. That's not Tonto.
No. He was
Anyway.
a pretty good pirate, though, but,
Yeah, he did a great pirate, but, that was his own.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Now,
hello,
Chris,
Kimosabe. That's a different thing.
Years ago.
Anyway, go ahead.
While we're still on Spinal Tap, before we go somewhere else, I saw them in concert at the Bob Carr Auditorium, and
I was there. I was sitting right behind you.
I know. I was just gonna say we were like 2 seats away from each other at that show.
Yeah.
That show still today is one of the best concerts I've ever been to.
That was a real treat to actually see it live. It was. I couldn't have been as psyched if I'd seen Led Zeppelin, as I was to actually see Spinal Tap.
Yeah, that was amazing. And what they did with Stonehenge was that was gold.
The funny thing is, not only did we have those kinds of experiences in Dead Serious on a regional level, and I know you blogged about some of your experiences, Will, with bands, but later in life, when I went out on the road touring with arena bands, that kind of stuff happened to the big boys. I mean, all the time. So it's not as far fetched as it seems.
Oh yeah, I mean, nothing goes perfect anytime.
Yeah.
There's always a little bump in the road, and it depends on how big that bump is and how that works out. I mean,
you got that much electronics and moving parts and stuff.
Oh yeah.
You're going to hit a bump or two here or there.
Drum heads break, and I mean, it's all different. Guitar strings breaking and all that. It's all part of the whole deal.
It happens all the time.
Drumheads don't break anymore from what we've found out on our.
The new Kevlar drumheads that we heard about last week, or the week before that.
Yeah.
But
Did you know that, Chris?
What's that?
They're making drum heads out of Kevlar now.
As they should. King Shifter probably needs those.
Right.
Yeah, probably.
And you know what? Especially in high school talent shows now that, these kids think it's okay to come to their school and shoot each other up, so.
Yeah.
But that's
crazy.
a different note
Crazy
anyway.
world, Thunder.
It is.
In the old days, I only had to worry about people coming to the shows with lawnmowers. Now they come to the shows with weapons.
Who was the guy with the lawnmower at the show?
Dude, you ran over my foot with a mower at a dead Serious show. I nearly had you thrown out.
I know I did that. A real lawnmower when you were out there with the bubble mower. Yes, that was me. And I
Your
apologize.
girlfriend wasn't so cute, I'd have had you bounced out of there.
All I remember is the smelling of burning gas and the sound of the lawnmower while the guitars were dun, 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 dun. Yes,
in case
that
your
was not one
listeners
of my...
aren't aware, in case your listeners aren't picking up on that, we had a song back in the old days with Dead Serious called Lawn Care Studs. You guys played it.
We played that song earlier tonight.
Yeah. Yes. And I would come out with a toy lawnmower and jump down into the mosh pit and run around and smash it up, like Pete Townsend at the end of the show. And it was a lot of fun. And Thunder came to one of our shows one time, and he brought a real lawnmower and gassed it up and fired it up right in the mosh pit, and we all had to go running for cover.
Well, actually, it was there when I got there. I saw it. It was in the pub in Cocoa Beach, and it was by the back door, and I saw it. And when you guys started playing the song, I'm like, why is that lawnmower there? And I went over there, and I'm like, I'm going to yank the cord to see if it starts, and it started. So then I ran through the mosh pit with it, and I ran you over and a couple other people. And luckily, I didn't cut anybody. Yeah. Then I shut it off and I put it back, and we enjoyed the rest of the show with Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah.
Blowing pyrotechnics out of the pipe and all that. But yeah, it was a stupid.
We had a very visual, explosive show for sure.
Yeah, yes,
literally.
You always did, which was great. I mean, and I love seeing you guys at the pub in Cocoa Beach because it was such a small venue and you were so close to the stage, and at the power station and everything, you could get close to the stage, but it was such a bigger stage. You guys were so far. It was just so much fun there, at the pub right there. But
we do shows. We do shows at the power station and put 1,500 people in there on a Friday night.
Yeah.
But then go up to the pub and draw maybe 100. So, and sometimes those smaller shows at the pub, like you said, they were a lot more fun. They were a lot more intimate. We were able to connect with the audience more easily, and just a lot more fun.
Well, I'm glad I didn't cut your foot off because your book would have been totally different there, walking on a peg leg.
Yeah.
You already had the voice of a pirate like I do. So, I mean, you could have been Johnny Depp at that point.
Hey, Thunder, are you smoking while you're on the air?
No, absolutely not.
Or bong hits or something? It usually sounds like maybe you're...
Yes, I am smoking a cigarette while I'm on the air. I was smoking a cigarette.
Okay. All right, you're busted.
I quit smoking.
As everybody should.
They should.
Well,
I'm working on that right now. And,
I still smoke e-cigs, but since it's been almost 5 months since I've had a cigarette, a real one, and
a day at a time, brother.
Yeah, there's a huge noticeable difference in the way that I feel, my stamina, and just overall energy level. When you cut all that carbon monoxide and all that other crap that's in cigarettes out, when you're just getting nicotine, it's and nothing else, it's it's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah, bad stuff.
I didn't hear you.
I said it's bad stuff, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is.
So tell us some more about some of your gigs. Who was the most famous band that you guys ever opened for?
Probably at the time we opened for Ace Frehley, and that was probably the biggest name that we had played with. Or no, I'll take that back. We even opened for Cinderella back when that scene was still happening, and but those were probably the two biggest names because they were selling gold and platinum records at the time. But probably the biggest show that we played on as an opening act. We played down in Miami at the Cameo Theater. We opened for a punk band called the Circle Jerks, which musically we were much more in tune musically with the Circle Jerks than we were Cinderella. Although I was a much bigger Cinderella fan than I was of the Circle Jerks. And that show down in Miami with Circle Jerks, 1,500, 2,000 people. You know, it was a huge crowd. So the biggest show we did as an opening act really depends on, you know,
how you perceive it right there.
Yeah, whether it was the headliner or the size of the crowd. The biggest crowd we ever played to was when we headlined our own show. We did an outdoor show at Pleasure Island, and that was actually shot for a TV show. And we drew, I don't know, about 3,000 people that night. So
nice.
That's where we got to at one point, you know, where we were bringing in, you know, consistent crowds between 1,500 and 3,000 at a pop, you know.
Bill and I combined, you know, together, you know, probably saw you 100 times together. And, you know, I read in your book, you know, you a couple times there you said, you know, consider yourself as a geek or a dork or whatever, which is amazing to me because, I mean, I remember back in the day when I was 18, 19, you know, into my early 20s, coming to see you guys playing. I thought you were one of the coolest guys alive.
Well, I was on stage. The second I walked on stage, I'd be, you know, it's like Superman, you know, and
Superman and Clark Kent right there.
I'd put the Clark Kent glasses back on and become a dope again, you know. But on stage, I was 6 feet tall and bulletproof, you know.
Right.
And
one of the bands. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Almost got me in trouble a few times, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. One of the bands you play with. Go ahead, Bill.
Did you ever? I'm referencing a blog post that I did on my blog, where I wrote about the, you know, in my opinion, the two biggest homegrown bands in Florida, being Stranger and Dead Serious. Did you guys ever play a show with Stranger?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that's a funny thing with Stranger. I was a huge fan of theirs, and when they first got signed to CBS in '82. I would have been about 19 years old, and I was just a dork hanging out at their shows. And, you know, they had the record deal, and they were on tour with Cheap Trick and all these big bands. So in our world, Stranger, they had made it. They were huge. And years later, as their popularity was beginning to wane, and Dead Serious was sort of on the uptake there, we crossed paths, and I think we actually did a few shows together. And they would bring me out on stage to do Swamp Woman with them if I came out to one of their shows, and we actually became good friends for a while. I'd say right around 1990, which was a real treat, a real thrill for me. I don't know how much of their material is out on iTunes or out on YouTube, but if you got rock and roll fans, just good old down and dirty rock and rollers listening to the show, they need to check out Stranger. And they were like the Florida version of Van Halen, you know.
Yeah.
And so for us to have connected with them at one point in our career was a big treat, you know, and especially to become friends with them. They had there was a popular entertainment magazine in Central Florida years ago called Jam Magazine.
Yes, sir.
They had what they called the Jammy Awards, which is like the Florida version of the Grammys. And the big award was Entertainer of the Year. So the first year they had it, like in '89 or whatever, Stranger won it. And then the second year we won it, and they presented the award to us. So there was a lot of value to me, Will, in your article that you wrote about Dead Serious and Stranger on your blog. I read that and really enjoyed it. And it was as much of a treat for me being in that mix as it was for you, you know, from a fan standpoint. It was a magical, wonderful time, you know, when guys had tight pants and long hair and hot chicks and electric guitars that they wore really low, and people came out and supported the scene, and you could show up to a local gig and play to 400, 500, 600 people. It's not like that now, but those were awesome times. It was great to be part of it when it was happening, for sure.
Yeah, Will and I were in a band at the tail end of that situation there, and we actually
we played with you guys. Didn't we do a couple of gigs with you guys?
I know Matt
Stone
I think
did.
You know what?
That was when I was after this. That was after me. But one of our big inspirations was one of your guys' best friends at the time. Well, near the end of not the end of your career. That sounded horrible. But anyway,
I think we.
Near the end of that reign right there.
I think we did play some shows.
You played with AWOL. Yeah, maybe we did one time at the power station.
AWOL was a tremendous band. I write at great lengths about AWOL in Come On. They were our rock and roll brothers, and whenever you would be Dead Serious, you rarely would be Dead Serious without AWOL or AWOL without Dead Serious. And the very
one of the members of the on your forearm.
Yeah, the very first tattoo I ever got was an AWOL tattoo, and that was back in the days before, people were legally required to have tattoos by age 6. It was still a relatively, new thing, and people were flipping because, not only did I come out, sporting this crazy tattoo, but it was for, a rival band, which really showed, my loyalty and friendship to that group AWOL.
I went to school with. Oh, they were awesome, man. And I went to school with Side Peepers, and that's how I got in touch with AWOL. And
there are few nicer guys I've ever met than Cyrus, and an amazing talent, and he has just been a tremendous friend of mine, and we don't see each other too much these days. Lives have taken us in different directions, but every now and then we run into each other, and it's always a treat to run into any of the AWOL boys anymore.
Yeah, I've looked online 100 times to try and find some of their music, and I can't find it anywhere. But the one person
to Paul or Cyrus on Facebook or whatever, and tell them you want a CD. Tell them you'll cut their foot off with a lawnmower.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I talked to Cyrus a little bit there. I haven't found Paul on Facebook, but the one person in that band that really touched me was Kerry, as a bass player. Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah, he was though.
But no, he actually sat down with me when I started playing bass, and I was playing one finger at a time and just doom, just barely even understanding the instrument. And he sat down with me 3 or 4 times, man, and actually showed me the basics of how to play a bass guitar. And he was an amazing bass player. So was Joe Del Corvo. I mean, the two of those guys, just ridiculous in their totally different styles, but amazing in their own rights.
Yeah, Kerry
was
was more of a King's X kind of bass player, and Joe was much more of a an AC/DC, just straight
down, dirty. Let me play hard and fast. Yeah, and Kerry sat down with me, a couple times and showed me a couple licks, and this is when I first started playing, and kind of helped me become a bass player, not a guitar player on a bass, but play with the drums kind of thing, and be the foundation right there.
Yeah.
When they played, songs like there goes my mind right there. It's my Sometimers. But what song I'm talking about? Jungle Boogie.
Yeah.
He'd get on there and he was hear him slap the bass and everything. I was like, oh man, that's amazing. And you guys would come on and Joe Del Corvo would just pound the bass, kind of more of a Steve Harris style, It was like, man, that's what made me want to play bass, was watching you guys and watching AWOL.
That's a great compliment, and I'm not sure how much of their stuff is out online, but that's another Florida band from the old rock and roll days. It's definitely worth checking out. Any of your rock and roll listeners tonight can seek out AWOL. That's AWOL, and
that's right, at the will of the Lord. But man, amazing. I remember playing in the Gapi room with them, and they were just an amazing band. But
it's good.
You guys, and after reading your book, I didn't realize, you talked about not getting that brass ring in your book.
Yeah.
or in your opinion, not getting that brass ring as a musician. But after reading that book and hearing, the things you did in your lifetime, I mean, the events you were at, at Donald Trump's house for the wedding and all that, it totally amazes me.
Yeah,
you were there.
There's a lot more than just, a local, Florida trip down memory lane. I've had, I grew up with Brad Pitt. We were friends growing up.
I was going to bring that up, and I was going to ask you that.
He bought me my first Elton John record, and people go, "Oh, you're just making that up." It's like, no, Brad Pitt lived down the street from me. We were friends, and the night I spent at Donald Trump's house was crazy, and it's true. The bathroom fixtures at Donald Trump's house are made of gold. I've been there, I've seen it, and just crazy stuff. I was 19, 20 years old, and Gene Simmons threatened to beat me up. There's a lot of fun, crazy showbiz stuff in Come On.
And pardon me for my not using my mic right. Who was the 7'8" guy that was the butthead to you at the club?
Scott Travis.
Thank you. Travis from Judas Priest. Yeah, I thought he just nearly choked me out backstage one night, which is, funny because people get these perceptions, that they're rock and roll stars are these lovely, sweet, caring, well-adjusted people, and the fact of the matter is they usually aren't. And
I remember getting that dose of reality when I was like 15 years old. Now I didn't get into a fight with anybody, but I was at the Rat concert in Daytona Beach with Kix and Great White, and Warren DeMartini comes out onto the stage and he's smoking a cigarette, which I mean everybody does that, but he would literally flick that cigarette out into the crowd of people. And he did that like 4 or 5, and that was the first time I ever thought, what a jerk. Because I mean, somebody's not paying attention, especially with all the hairspray that was around.
Yeah, right. Somebody gone up like a Spinal Tap drummer. That was one of the disappointing realities of rock and roll that I discovered. As I got further into it and began working with bigger bands. Sort of a sense of entitlement, and discovered that it was a lot more fun for me when we were still at a local level. There was a certain naive innocence to it. And when I got done with my own band days and started working for bigger groups and being out on the road, I saw a side of people. I saw a side to the business that was not terribly appealing, and those are some of the things that later in life led me away from the entertainment world, or at least my fascination for the entertainment world, and got me focused on some things in life that are considerably more important and considerably more real. And that is my connection now to Jesus Christ. At the end of the day, it's like, well, you shred. All right, you're a great guitar player, big deal. You had a platinum record, big deal. There's a much bigger picture here in our lives than just the short-term, greed, ego-driven, self-serving success machine, And I remember when I've got 2 books out, and my first book was based on my experiences in the music business, working for a famous band, and things got kind of dark for me at that point, and I kind of turned around and realized what the business is and what it is not, and just sort of walked away from that and started focusing on the bigger picture that's certainly more true, more honest, more real, and that's my walk with Christ, You know, people hear, you know, Jesus and God, and they kind of sometimes get a little freaked out, but, you know, that's just based on this perception of religion that we've had pushed down our throats our whole lives. And Jesus is not about religion. You know, it was the religious people at the time, the religious people of the day who crucified Christ. You know, Jesus is about, yeah.
Hold on, just a second. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Thunder, could you move your microphone, please? You're breathing into it, and it sounds like a hurricane going on there.
I'm sorry. No, well, you said one thing in your book that really, really, I mean, touched me right there, and it's on that same lines right there. It is about religion right there. It's not the religion, it's how you're living your life. You can live your life as a closet Christian, and you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
It's a matter of living your life.
Religion is what pushes us away from God. Relationship is what draws us closer. And at the end of the day, that's all God wants, is a relationship with us. Sin and laws and all of this condemnation and guilt and religion, that's, you know, man-made stuff that just divides us. You know, and another thing that a false perception that people have is, oh, well, you know, if you're going to follow, you know, Jesus, well, then you can't have fun anymore. Well, that's just based on more of the religion that we've been peddled our whole lives.
Well,
you know, not only
exactly, because
not only does it
you
mean
wrote in your
you
book,
can't have fun, you can have more fun and have a more exciting, more abundant, enjoyable, outrageous, extreme life walking with Christ than walking without Him.
Well, you said at the beginning of the book right there, like when you were a kid right there, and when you started finding rock and roll, it was hard for you when you were in church when they were damn, you know, they're down in rock and roll. And then you found Striper. And I understand that because when I first started playing music, Will and I, we started a Christian band. Mm-hmm. And all we got was condemnation for using electric guitars and, you know, trying to do our music. And I'll tell you what, when you were talking about the first show that you did as a drummer and it was horrible, let me tell you what, I guarantee you that you would have made it on American Idol versus what me and Will did our first time out there. He was Reverb Nation, had his reverb turned up as loud as it could be, and I was trying to sing, and I have no voice. I tried to sing. I didn't growl. I tried to sing.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Which was frightening, probably.
We ended up getting a good singer, a guy that actually was really close with AWOL, a guy named Mike Dirks.
Oh, sure,
and,
sure.
You know Mike, and
Michelle's
our band was called Epidemic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we played the Agape Room and this, that, and the other thing. And we were a decent band. We had a guy named Damian Johnson, which you probably know from ECCC.
I love Damian Johnson. I had lunch with Damian Johnson just the other day.
I'm going to tell you right now, out of anybody I've ever heard touch a drum kit, I think he's a god on a drum kit. He's ridiculous good.
His whole family, there is so much talent in his
absolutely.
Family.
His dad's I've known them for years.
I just DJ'd a private party for the Johnson family recently, and just especially as my life has changed in the last couple of years, you know, so has my circle of friends, and
exactly.
I'm very close with the Johnson family, and those are just the nicest folks, my best friends, and the most talented, hardcore rock and rollers, you know, and that.
Oh, unbelievable!
That you can't have fun and you can't rock and be right on for God, and that's absolutely not true.
That's because they do not know the Johnsons. That's why. You meet them; they're the Partridge Family of Christian rock and roll.
Yeah. With some edge on the ball too. You know, just great great singers and songwriters, and you know those are the folks that I hang out with now. You know, the people I hang out with now still burn. You know, they're still hardcore rock music. The best bands, the best musicians, the best songwriters, the most awesome rock-solid music people I deal with, have ever dealt with, are the people that I'm dealing with now. You know why? Within the context of being at church, East Coast Christian Center in Merritt Island, Florida.
And you know why I believe that?
Let's have it. You there?
I don't think it has anything to do with lawnmowers. Are you there, Thunder?
We lost Thunder.
We lost him. I'm going to give it a couple seconds and I'll call him back.
He started preaching and got all choked up and passed out.
Well, that happens. Actually, that happened last week and it happened the week before. I guess that's probably going to be a weekly thing where Thunder disappears.
Yeah, I remember we lost him last week too.
Yeah, it must be global warming taking away the thunder. I'm going to try and call him right now.
Yeah, man. See, I tell you, I listen to your show. I'm a fan. I know you lost him last week.
I haven't figured out how to mute this yet.
I like the ring. That's good stuff. Come on, Thunder.
Well, hello there.
Oh,
Welcome back,
scared
Thunder.
me.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I disappeared right there.
I need to get the Twilight Zone theme on here, and when you disappear, because it seems like it's going to be a weekly thing now.
It's at a certain time. It just, I don't know. But anyway, as I was saying, the reason that
you're getting ready to make a life-changing statement.
You know what I think it is that the reason that you're having more fun with music with the guys you're doing music with right now is because of clear head. There's nothing else involved in there. And, and that's a big thing right there. And a reason that
Okay, Thunder, your phone is, you sound like you're in a tin can right now.
Well, I'm sorry about that. Is that better?
Okay, that's better. That's better.
The reason that we deterred from the Christian music scene is because we were getting nothing but dismay from it. We were 14, 15 years old, which is totally crazy to me.
I went through the same thing you guys did. I wanted to be in Stryper. When I saw Stryper show up, and this was even back before, I was really living it. I was still a pig, back
right.
in
Me too.
I was still a kid, but I got what they were about, and they showed up, and they looked like chicks, and they had the screaming guitars and the high heels.
You got to be a rock star.
Oh, they were.
You got to be a rock star.
I said,
right.
This is what I want to be. And a buddy of mine in town, we did like you guys. We started, try to put our own, Christian rock group together, and we were pushed out not by the world, not by non-believers, but by
the church,
religious church people.
Well, what happened to us? We were, we were playing churches. We were playing about 2
youth groups
and we and we were. But there was this group of people from I can't remember what group they were affiliated with, but they would be spreading. At one point, we were even picketed at a show that we did at a church.
And so they were doing it for the money. Doing it for the money.
We made $75 in
$13. When they first did it, we had made $13 in 5 shows.
Yeah, it's
and it's like, really? We were playing in churches and playing for youth groups.
That wasn't Jesus talking. That was somebody's religion talking.
And that's right there where people understand. And you explained, like, you found your church in ECC, where they accepted you with your tattoos and everything. And, there's a lot of churches out there. And you know what? I'm not as devout a Christian as you are because I read your book, and you know what? I am Christian, but I still have my demons, and I'm fighting with myself. But as a Christian, someone who does believe in Jesus Christ, there's a judgment issue there where you can't do that. It's not your job. Jesus will do that.
Exactly. Our job.
And I hear churches who won't let gay people in their doors. Well, maybe they need to be letting those doors, and maybe that can help them through their ways.
As Christ followers, our job is to love each other. Go into the world, spread the gospel, and love each other. And if anybody, that's how you can kind of tell whether you're in the right church or not, because if what you're hearing from the pulpit is not
preaching, not teaching.
Yeah, if it's not kindness, compassion, love, grace, forgiveness, if that's not what you're hearing, you need to grab your coat and hit the exit because you're probably not in the right place.
And I've come back from that. But, you know, I was in a Christian band, and I was a good kid. I didn't make it wrong all the time, and I respected my parents, and I was at church. I was going to ECC. When it first started, I remember it was Cinema 2. And we were in, and my girlfriend at the time went to a different church, and they had like a fall fest kind of thing. And I went there, and one time I ever met her. I said, hello, how are you doing? The next week,
you need to step outside or something because you're in the can again.
Well, sorry, but anyway.
We do have a guest.
It's about time to close the show anyway, so.
Well, 15 minutes. We have a guest in the chat room. I just want to, you know, if you have a question or whatever, just go ahead and type it out, and we'll get it answered. Chris, we were talking. You know, he was talking about a segment in the book that really that was really an eye opener for him. There was one with me, too. You know, when you were talking about how, you know, things went south with your first marriage, and basically the whole, you know, reading that segment in the book when you were talking about how, you know, it really was your fault. I mean, that was like an eye opener for me because of the fact that you know, for years you know, my ex-wife left me, you know, and for years I, you know, hated her, blamed her, and whatnot. But I mean, you know, she probably left me because I had two marriages. I had Madstone and I had her, in that order.
So that's absolutely true. You know, we especially with relationships, boyfriend, girlfriend, marital relationships, we're so quick to point the finger at the other person. You know, and you know, I'm at the point in my life I can see what happened in my own marriage and say, well, you know, why did that happen? Well, probably because it was my fault. You know, I wasn't stepping up and I wasn't living it, and you know, that was just one example, you know, of the darkness that I was living in. You know, that's not God's best, but you know, that's our lifestyle. You know, we were party rock and rollers and out more focused on flying to L.A. to catch some concert or whatever than focusing on what we needed to. But we didn't know any better, man. We didn't have any Jesus in our home, you know. So,
well, I mean,
yeah.
Could the ex-wife have gone about it differently? Absolutely, but still, I mean, you know,
it goes. It's all about what you do. You know, it says in the Bible that the man runs the house, and if you're not running the house correctly, the wife's not going to be happy. And your grandmother and your great-grandmother will tell you the same thing. If mama's not happy, nobody's happy, and that's when everything turns to crap.
Yeah, I take full responsibility for everything that ever went south, you know, in my life. I'm not going to point fingers at anybody, you know. And,
there you go. And speaking of which, now, something that brings you closer to me than you know, did you know that your guitar player in Dead Serious, the one you brought into it, Doug Gibson, was actually the maid of honor at my first wedding?
He was the maid of honor?
Yes. Him and my wife were really good friends. I'm like, Doug from Dead Serious is going to be your maid of honor? I said, I love those guys.
That's hilarious.
And
I didn't know that.
Yes, Doug Gibson was a maid of honor at my first wedding. And now on a music level, hold on one second here. Doug Gibson and Pete Brado, that collaboration they did together on the CD that AWOL did was ridiculous.
Yeah, they were great players. Still are great.
They could have hung with Eddie Van Halen right there on that collaboration. It was ridiculous good.
Yeah, the amount of talent that we had on the East Coast music scene at that time, particularly in my group, That's Serious, and with AWOL was staggering. You know.
Oh, absolutely.
It was,
and I'm so sorry about that whole green jello thing, because I knew as well as the first time I heard that song on the radio, I'm like, no, this is crap. This is not them. This is somebody stole an idea from a guy I know named Dead Lee. And that's who I know.
The band Green Jello came on the scene in the early 90s, and I go into some detail in the book, but basically somehow, you know, our act got taken, you know, and all of a sudden
absolutely
on the radio with a top 10 record that sounded exactly like Dead Serious, you know. And
well, I'm gonna tell you one thing, it didn't sound exactly like Dead Serious. It sounded like a cheesy remake of the real thing, and you guys were the real thing. I was there every show watching you guys. I remember you hanging from the rafters. I remember the lawnmower. I remember the baby doll. I remember Mr. Potato Head blowing up out of his pipe. I mean,
yep.
When you did Designated Driver the first time, I remember that. I mean, you guys were the real deal, and you guys should have been a part of that scene. And you might not have gotten your brass ring there, but you definitely have it now, and your writing is impeccable.
Well, I appreciate that, Thunder. It's I'm finding more enjoyment now in writing and doing books and my blog site and so on. Much more enjoyment doing that than the crazy rock and roll days. I wanted to offer something to your listeners tonight, if it's cool.
Absolutely.
We've been talking about my new book, Come On, and I just want to be clear with people, that there's definitely a Jesus payoff in my story, but there's a lot of crazy rock and roll stories, a lot of fun showbiz stories from over the years, and I want to give out a couple of free Kindle ebook downloads tonight, if that's all right.
Absolutely.
We have 6 minutes.
For the first 10 people that email me, all they need to do is just email me and say, hey, I heard you on the Will and Thunder show. I want a copy of Come On. And the first 10 people that send me an email, I'll send them your choice, either the PDF ebook or a Kindle download. And my email address is real simple. It's author Christopher Long. It's just my name, author Christopher Long at Yahoo. And the first 10 people that send me an email and, like I said, say they heard the show and just ask for a copy, and I'll send you a free ebook.
That's awesome.
I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you were listening to this show, I read the book in 6 hours. It is more than you can believe. I mean, you're talking to a rock star as you're reading through this book, and he's done more than you can ever imagine, the people he's met. And at the end, it's so inspirational. It's made me take a second look at myself right there and kind of question a little bit of what I'm doing. And
well, I hope
I really.
And
you know what?
The great thing is just what you just said. I mentioned earlier my first book was before my awakening, so to speak. My first book was sex, drugs, and rock and roll and all that stuff. And when that book came out, there was a lot of darkness. There was a lot of negative energy generated around that book. But once I got my head and my heart straight with God and took some of those rock and roll stories and funneled it through the type of story as Come On, there's just been countless people who have reached out to me with the same, sharing the same wonderful words that you just shared with me, Thunder. People's lives that are being touched and people that are thinking about Christ who might not have thought about him otherwise, and that's huge. So to be a writer, I would much rather be on the side with Jesus and encouraging people and inspiring people than being on the dark side of the fence a couple of years ago and writing a bunch of crap that generates negative energy.
And I understand everything that you write down there. There's a lot of, and the people are saying there's a lot of twists and turns in there that they're not going to see coming right there. The one thing that made me laugh the most is your mom talking about Brad Pitt being on the cover of Time magazine as the sexiest guy in the world, and her saying, "I used to sleep in my living room in his underwear." That kind of thing right there. I mean, the whole story and how many people you've met and the way you've been through things and everything that you've been through. It's not glory to God. Listen here, if you raise your hands to God and you kiss snakes and this, that, and other thing, it's not that kind of book. It's a kind of book of telling, listen, these are my trials, these are my tribulations, this is what I've been through, this is why I'm here where I'm at right now. And it shows that it doesn't matter where you are in your life right there, no matter how bad you're off. That you might have another turn and you could try this because this is what worked for me.
No matter
you're
where
preaching,
man, you're not too far to miss God's reach. you know. And
to me, it wasn't. Go ahead.
And the funny thing is, I'm still connected to the entertainment world. You know, I was out last week reviewing the Chicago concert here in town. A couple of weeks before that, I was in Orlando reviewing the Ted Nugent concert. You know, that's still my gig. I still have my day job. So it's not like I joined a monastery or something. I'm still...
Or a cult or whatever, you know. Right.
You know, I work in the nightclub business, man. I'm a nightclub DJ, and I'm an entertainment writer. And, you know, so I'm still out, you know, living in the world and seeing what's going on. I just know how better to respond to those situations, you know.
Guys, we have a minute and a half left.
Well, the way I took it when I read your book, it wasn't preaching. I thought it was more teaching.
Well, that's cool, man. I appreciate it. And before Will throws us off, I just want to remind everybody again to please reach out to me on the email. I want to send out 10 free ebooks tonight, 10 free copies of Come On. The first 10 people who respond. My email address is author Christopher Long at Yahoo. I'm also on Facebook, which is Facebook/author Christopher Long. And I invite people, I encourage people to reach out to me through an email, get a free ebook tonight. Reach out to me on Facebook. If I can be of any encouragement or inspiration, please. There's never a bad time to reach out to me. You know, I like meeting new people and making new friends, and, you know, there you go.
Hey, would you do us a favor?
What's that?
Would you do us a favor, Chris?
Anything.
In your best, dead serious voice, say, "Welcome to the Will and Thunder Show."
You ready?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Welcome to the Will and Thunder Show.
All right.
We'd like to. We'd love to thank. I mean, I love it.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. We got 5 seconds, and it's going to cut off like right now. So thank you for listening. Good night.
Thanks, Chris. We'll see you later.
Thanks, fellas.
It's getting to that time where the leaves are changing and your grass is turning a little brown. It's maybe your last chance or last opportunity to manicure it the way you want to, or maybe have somebody else do it. And just keep that in mind when you hear the song. But anyway, let's go ahead and take that break. All right, Will.
we don't peek. No! We start early in the morning when it's cool, man. When it's late in the day, we cruise, man. Don't hire no little wimp to cut your grass. 'Cause we're the lawn care studs and we kick ass. Yes, we'll manicure your lawn till our fingers bleed. We got tractors, mowers, everything we need. Lawn care is our business till the day we die. Crab grass, pitch bugs, all the reasons why. Mowers, edgers, and blowers, oh my. Lawn care is our business till the day we die.
What?
They drank. Just let the kids know right now, this weekend, or when you're going out trick-or-treating on the 31st, next Tuesday, and somebody tries to give you goobers, those are chocolate-covered peanuts. Be aware. Be scared. Tell them you want Raisinets.
Because peanuts are evil. We'll be right back with Christopher Long.